All right, it's officially starting. It's Sky Conference Olds PRs with a new old. I'm James. I'm drinking Coronas. Now it's Chase's turn. Introduce yourself.
I'm Jace. I'm drinking a mystery drink. Look, I shaved my beard for my draft review, and now I look like a child, but I promise I'm 400 years old, just like everyone else here.
I'm actually the closest to 400, I guess. I'm drinking
By
Robert
like,
the Bruce. Have
like
you guys
2
ever had
months.
this? It's so good. Anyways, kids don't.
What's
drink.
up? It's the Jordan. I'm drinking High Noon. It's a White Claw, but better. I'm taking a back seat. I did a lot in the last one, so I'm going to be on the quieter side. This one is for the VBL coaches. I love nearly all of y'all. Even if I shit on your teams, I love y'all.
All
I
right,
said nearly.
we can go ahead and
I
just
Care to
Yeah.
elaborate?
do that,
Calculated.
and we're probably good, right?
Yeah, it's a good start.
Something like this. Jace, you can be in C
Cool.
tier.
No, put it down. Put it down.
Everybody else
It's
D
okay.
tier.
Yeah, the video's
We're
over.
banging
right?
down 2 minutes, I think.
Here we go.
All right, no.
Thanks
My
for having me.
plan, however, is to just put everybody essentially in a line and then make my tiers fit at the end.
Sure.
So, but let's go ahead and start with the first team. I've got up here Thundurus Division. Looks like we're going to do first, and we're going to do the Grandma's Togekises. Good old Sukaba.
Hell yeah.
4th season in the league, I think, right? 4th, maybe? Something like that. Maybe 5th? I don't know. Been around for a while. Had some good opinions in the Earth Conference, and now is not here, and we get to have opinions on his team. I'll start. It's like pretty good, right? He's got a lot of Pokemon that I like. Noivern, Klefki, Ursaluna is very cool. Typhlosion, Hisui form, everybody wanted. It does like good stuff. I think Ursaluna and maybe not Enamorous, but probably Enamorous are actually like fast enough to take advantage of Noivern Tailwind.
Yeah.
Like 46 is, I mean, 50 and 46 aren't that far apart, but I think even though like people think of those basically as Trick Room Pokemon, like they can just as easily take advantage of Noivern with very fast Tailwind. I think only Talonflame is faster. Well, the Prankster Tailwind, but just in terms of raw speed. So, like, if Gale Wings is broken or something like that, then I think it's just Talonflame is faster, right? 124?
It's hard to say with all the speed booster paradoxes running around.
yeah.
Electric, when he had Noivern last season, he said every
good
week
point.
someone's got a mount faster than Noivern. So that's the format we're playing in, but it is usually going to get you Tailwind. And yeah, absolutely. Like they'll win when you have Tailwind, but your opponent doesn't. What they won't win is when you both have Tailwind, or when you both are prepared for fast mode. But yeah, no, like on a gut level, some of these mons are really fundamentally excellent, and I believe in them, including Ursaluna and Klefki. And I'm gonna assume that a good fairy, a strong, bulky fairy, is gonna be good. We shall see.
I mean,
Kabak plays this kind of style where
two of
he
them
usually
too,
doesn't
right?
care about speed control, where he like the fundamentals of his game are offense and defense, and he does a really good job with them. Like particularly with the Klefki screens, he's bringing that back. So and he's got the options, but he's gonna really focus on beating down the opponent before he gets beaten down, and I think it's gonna work like it usually has been in the past few seasons. So yeah, I believe in it. I think we can poke holes that like, oh, I'll bring ghost moves. Well, I'll outspeed this
right.
team sometimes. Fundamentally, I think it's going to be hard to KO 4 mons.
Yeah, this is a solid team. I did realize that I still had my tier list up on the recording until about 20 seconds ago. So now the video can also see that we're talking the bonds we're talking about. But
Right.
Well,
yeah, it only took me like, I don't know, a minute and a half to notice.
Klefki is really good speed
But-
control too with Thunder Wave, and screens are really nice.
Totally,
for his team.
totally.
But I do feel like Prankster Tailwind and Gale Wings Tailwind are going to give this team a little bit of trouble. It also has a decently strong Trick Room mode, stronger than a lot of the other teams we saw, at least in the Earth Conference. So curious to see what the other teams in the Sky look like in that department, because this team goes pretty slow. Colossal's not bad in Trick Room. Electric, Electric, we saw last season, is a very, very decent Pokemon for however many points it was now.
Yeah, I got demolished by it.
Yeah, so
I
definitely.
gave it no respect and got destroyed by it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely options to go slow or fast, and a lot of bulk and screens just add to that bulk. So, interesting team.
Yeah. Mesprit is the one of. Go for it, Jace.
I was just gonna say, before we get too far past it, there was a comment earlier about Ursaluna and Enamorus being usable in Tailwind. I just want to point out that Adamant Ursaluna with max speed investment in Tailwind outspeeds a fully invested Timid Jolteon. So it is correct. Base 50 is totally usable in Tailwind. You have to invest some speed and then you're giving up the bulk, but you set it up, the opponent doesn't have it, and you absolutely can just take all the KOs you need and win that way as well.
Yeah, I think base 50s outspeed base 130s with Tailwind.
Yeah,
I didn't invest.
I didn't realize it was that good, but yeah, totally.
It doesn't seem like it should be, right? Because 50
Yeah,
is 50,
exactly.
100, but yeah.
So
Let's throw it on the board.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Where are we at? There we are. I like
good,
it,
but it's hard with nothing to compare it to yet.
So here's my plan. I mean, I mentioned it a little. Everything is going in B tier right now, ordered best to worst, and then I'm gonna fit them at the end. That is my plan.
This team starts in first place.
So as of right now, yeah,
Mine are
this
gonna
team
move around
starts
too,
in
but
first
right now
place.
it's an A tier.
All right, who's our second team here? Didn't we ban Ray, or did we not do that this season?
I think we tried.
We tried
Himself by drafting Weavile and Lucario first 2 picks.
Yeah, what a wild first 2 picks, right?
Lucario, I don't understand at all.
It's beat up is the combination. I talked to him a little bit about the draft, and I don't want to spill his secrets too much, but I think he was having fun with Chanpao Dragonite last time, and he said, fuck it, I'm going to see if I can take the discount version with literally the pre-evolved version of Chanpao and another Pokemon with a high attack stat that is going to Terra Electric and Extreme Speed. Whether the rest of the team lines up with that is definitely a question for us to debate, but that's what the first 2 picks are doing.
I guess this is kind of Qianpao Dragonite for less points than either one of them.
At home.
Yeah, it's like at your grandma's house.
If we just put those picks round 4 and round 5 after the first 3, or after round 3, 4, 5, we would consider this a more normal team, because I really believe in Skeledirge, Rotom Wash, and Landorus individually and together. So just because they drafted in a strange order doesn't mean this isn't a fundamentally pretty strong team. We've all seen those mons do well.
I guess so.
Drago, I think, is very strong.
Yeah, I think my only thought on this is this seems like there's no round 1 pick out of all 11 of these. You know what I mean? Like there's no mon that you're like, this is what I'm getting in round 1. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like.
At the same time, though.
But there's also no round 11 pick.
Well,
Exactly.
no one cares what round you got it when you're prepping and playing against them.
True. But
there's 11. Sorry.
Go for it.
There's 11 really bringable mons here.
100%.
Like, when I look at this team and I try to prep for it, I think probably the worst one on the team is Hisuian Avalugg, because Skiploom I think is actually a lot more bringable than that. But even that guy with stats, if you tear it right, can really work. I think that's the benefit of doing this strategy that Ray went for, and we'll have to see if it pays off. There's a bunch of teams that went for this kind of thing in both conferences, but especially this one with Ray, myself, and Braff. It's a super wide team, and if you look at the moves on the right, every Pokemon has every move covered. So he has so many options to draw from, and it's a huge departure from his Chanpao Dragonite every week thing, but it's worth an experiment at least.
Yeah, the bulk is really strong on this team too, and even though there's no really good tailwind setter, you have two that are gonna live. I guess you have EVL Light on the Skip Loom. It probably lives long enough to set tailwind, and with the bulk on the rest of the team, maybe you don't need it, right?
So, I agree with you generally. I was thinking, I wonder how the bulk changes when you remove Avalugg, because like he's got such dirt tier special defense and crazy high physical defense, and it like totally evens it out essentially. It's crazy. Like the difference is crazy. Like that's.
I think drafting lethal Lucario makes the type chart look worse, and that's just something we'll have to accept. Is that this team is fighting on different dimensions. Where it's going to have weak points, but it's going to use the better Pokemon more often, and so that's how it fixes. Like I think we're going to see a lot of Rotom Wash, Skeledirge, and Landorus, and I think this is going to be a good team. You know, great. Ray's track record is any indicator, then the team will be good. I also think Chestnut is highly bringable. What Jay said, basically they're all bringable, so good team.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for some of the mons to get going. I feel like though, like Regidrago is really strong, but without priority tailwind or just a way to get it up.
I would have liked more premium support overall in this team.
Yeah, like Skip.
I think it's really worth
support,
looking.
But it's budget. Go ahead, Jace.
Looking at this team, oh my God, there's an ice cream truck going on. I think it's
it drives by every day.
From the Regidrago perspective, that is the fourth most valuable Pokemon on this team, but I would say probably the second biggest damage dealer, because Rotom and Skeledirge are both doing kind of bulky and offensive things. And okay, so obviously with Regidrago you're talking about removing fairies. You have Lucario and Slowking for that, both of those being mid-tier. Slowking I think pretty reliable, Lucario much less so. I don't know if they're maximizing the Regidrago value, but I think it was also like, I got 18 points left, might as well.
Yeah,
I'm still
totally
fairying against the team personally.
For sure.
Yeah, probably, right?
Hard. Yeah.
But
I think Avalugg is going to be a pretty good Terra Steel with what's the weight-based steel move? I don't remember what it's called.
And then
Heavy Slam,
Poison Sludge Bomb.
Can Sludge Bomb, yeah.
But anyway, it's in B right now for me.
Yep, I like Sakaba's team better.
I'm really excited to see it played, but I don't know.
I like where we go. I like Sakaba's team better, but it's a good team. All right, next one we've got KC in the
I didn't pay attention
NorCal
to
Noibat
the conference because I was in the Earth conference, so I missed the fact that KC has a totally cracked team. Does anyone not think it's completely ridiculously awesome?
I think I'm lower on it than you, but I do quite like it.
What
I haven't.
Did we just lose?
Qfant and
Makuhita.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't need him, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, Venonat we only barely need because it has Rage Powder and Compound Eye Sleep Powder.
I dig it.
But it's
totally. I mean, it's worth 3 points, and it'll let Hisuian Gudra get some body presses up once, or a Salamence Dragon Dance or something like that. Cloister Shell Smash maybe.
Goggles against this team, so Venonat will be effective the once in a blue moon it shows up.
I think that this team's really susceptible to intimidate spam.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That's
a lot of really
maybe my
strong
main
special
concern.
threats.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moltres,
The other
and
thing is,
I mean Salamence always seems to run special in draft. Like that's just how I've noticed it tends to end up happening. But yeah, basically you've got Salamence and Moltres, and I guess Gudra does have 110 also. But
yeah, they're all fine. But
so let's give them credit for one clear amulet a week. Yeah, it'll be all right. I mean, Gudra's going to be body pressing anyway. We'll figure it out. Like, this team fundamentally has huge numbers that scale up pretty quickly.
Hold on, Gudra is not going to just be body pressing. Come on now, Jordan.
Sometimes it will.
Sometimes it will be, sure.
That's true.
It has every move.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't just need to body press. It can do a lot of different things. That might
can body press, flash cannon, T-bolt, acid spray, something silly like that. Right. In every corner.
Okay, I thought you were saying it's just body pressing. Or
yeah.
I'm like, hold on. Okay, I get you now.
I like Misdreavus. It's not necessarily supporting a ton of like Trick Room here, right? Like there's nothing. I mean, like these.
Misdreavus is just vibing, being bulky.
Yeah.
You know, just a
Yeah,
good
oh
one.
yeah, totally,
Didn't
totally.
even need an Eviolite, but it got one. Now it's great. I happen to share 2 mons with Casey, Misdreavus and Moltres, and I believe in both of them. But I also believe in the other 7 that we have on this screen even more highly. So like, I'm really, really impressed, and this team's going straight to S2.
Sneasler and Rillaboom is a really sick combo. I don't agree that this is an S tier team though. Jace, were you gonna say something?
I think this is, in my opinion, a good team for sure. It has a lot of positives going for it, but just to rattle off a few of the negatives, it has Misdreavus as a Trick Room answer, but not really a great way to abuse Trick Room. And the speed, it has Salamence as its fastest thing, and then the really frail Sneasler. And of course, Sneasler is the fastest thing in the universe, but if it's not a good matchup for that, you really don't have speed, and your best way to set Tailwind is 100 Salamence, which is really slow. And then if you just look at the type chart, Cloyster is your only ice resist, which Cloyster's taking 50% from an ice beam. No, it double resists that. Never mind. But still,
It still might.
Cloyster you have to bring to resist any ice type moves. You have 1 resist to flying in Goodra, which oftentimes likes to Terra, and you like to bring it out at the end anyways. And then the team is also, as we can see, weak to rock. So just those details on their own, to me, say, okay, this team has a lot going for it, especially built around the Goodra, Rillaboom, Grimmsnarl core. But I don't think it is S tier caliber.
Let me first say, Jace, that was very commendable even-handedness. Now, let me be uneven-handedness. This team is fucking ridiculous! Like, alright, so we're just gonna abuse Terra Water. Ice Beam? I'm really afraid of Ice Beam now. Coverage, Ice
Anytime
Beam.
you say you have to Terra Water,
Yeah, we got
to Terra
Shell
into something
Smash.
to deal with a type chart, that's
we
a
got
problem.
Plenty of versatile speed options. Every mon here is protected by Grimmsnarl. You think Salamence can't set screens with its amazing stats with Grimmsnarl by its side? It can set Tailwind whenever it wants. This team will be great.
I don't think it can set Tailwind whenever it wants.
I
gotta respect Trick Room, Tailwind, and bulking you out at all times, and that's why it'll get you, because you can't just bring taunt. You gotta respect all this team's numbers, I think.
I love.
You have to respect a handful of offense and some bulk, and I think there's the one speed option in Sneasler, but I don't think you have to respect the Trick Room, and I don't really think you have to respect Tailwind in the same way as other teams.
And let's remember that we took 2 mons off of here like they don't exist. That matters in prep. The fact that everybody's doing that. This team only has 9 Pokemon, right? Like
I'm not really literally thinking the numbers. I'm thinking about like the numbers plus the multipliers that they're readily available to this team. What you're saying is completely fair, but like KC, I want you to get the championship here. I need this championship from you. You got the team.
I love Casey is one of the nicest guys ever, for sure. But I can't put this team in S tier. I'm sorry, Casey. Love you though, buddy.
All right, James, where you got it? You got the screen.
Yes, I got the screen, and I'm putting it. I do like it. Best of the 3.
Lame.
Yeah, well, I do like it best of the 3 we've looked at, but I am lower on it than Jordan, although I think I might be a little higher on it than Jace as well. Which is reasonable.
You like it better than Sukaba's team?
I do, but I think they're close.
No. Yeah. I don't like it better than Sukaba's team, but we know this. I want to also point out just very quickly something I forgot, which is that it doesn't have a ground type. Which is not a necessity, but really going to be taking a lot of damage from electric moves, especially if you're like relying on Cloyster for your defensive backbone and Moltres, and has no ability to hit like an electric or poison type Terra. Okay.
This is a crazy high defense number, and a real bummer HP stat to go with it. Yeah, it's a good team. I like it, but yeah, this is my top team so far, but we'll see where it ends up.
First 4 a lot.
Yeah.
First 4 are pretty gnarly.
First 5. The first 6. And then I also really like Moltres.
I don't know about Salamence. I don't know how I feel about them, man.
Okay. Camo. Pittsburgh Piplups. What do we got
Jordan,
here?
You were raving about this team.
It's
I was saying
it's
can't
Poppin's
tell if
team.
It's great or too
It's
weird.
Poppin's team from last season.
I'm inclined to think great.
It is.
I don't know. I'm not sure though. I don't want
Can
to.
I take the room off?
Powerful special Heatran. Powerful special fire type. Yeah, you can take Varun. Yeah, totally.
Whoa, look at the red appear as you remove the steel type.
Ooh.
That's one of those
It's
sneaky.
Tried to pull the steel over our eyes.
Yeah, this is one of those last round picks where people are like, I gotta fix my type chart. But like your opponent knows in prep that you just have that amount to fix your type chart. Nobody's fearing the Varun, right?
Yo, it's got slow start as a hidden ability. Trust.
Yeah,
Skill swap it to yourself and then.
It's crazy how similar in like overall. I mean, you've got strong special attacking fire type, Wo-Chien, Gastrodon, Farigiraf, and budget Grimmsnarl. Like this is
a major
Poppin's
addition to the
team.
Trick Room mode, and Enamorus is a major addition to the fast mode.
To a fast mode, yeah.
Compared to Poppin's team, the power level is going up.
Yeah, it's crazy. What is Spupa doing? Does it also Rage Powder or something like that?
Yeah, Rage Powder, Friend Guard,
And Friend Guard, yeah.
like String Shot for speed control. With this team, I think like people oftentimes overrate the whole type chart. No red. On an offensive team, it's not that important, right? Because you're just dealing out damage. You know you're going to get KO'd anyways. It's more important to have good offensive synergy. This is not a super offensive team. This team is a Wo-Chien team, and Wo-Chien literally must Terra every single game to hold this team together. But you can see this team is weak net to fire, ice, fighting, poison, flying, bug, and fairy. Literally every single one of Wo-Chien's weaknesses is shared by numerous other Pokemon.
Heatran carries a lot of the weight helping it out.
It always does. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
It does on every team, but particularly here with Wo-Chien, right?
Yeah.
I would say so. I mean, these not only is it all of Wo-Chien's weaknesses are net weaknesses for the team, but they're like there's every team has two very good Pokemon that target these types, right? So like, I mean, these are with the exception of Bug, those are types you want to be attacking with anyway, and you spent a lot of points on one or two of these mons. Like you've got good, strong stabs of these types on your team, right?
Let's remove Grookey and Spupa and see those red go away, because this team's gonna lean on its top 6 a lot of the time.
Yeah, I would like to remove even Electrode and Impotent as well.
But the point
These are
made
all
earlier
Pokemon
that
that
there's
are-
huge Terra demands on this team, I think is extremely important and a good point.
I think Electrode's going to be an important part of the fast mode of this team too.
It is, but its typing isn't that relevant because it's going to die to anything anyways. Sure. So if you look at the team as actually the bulky core without maybe like an impotent screen situation, it looks a lot better. It lacks a lot of dimensionality, of course, but I think you can bring these sticks every week and be okay.
And these are still
brought Skeledirge, Gastrodon, Wo-Chien, Farigiraf to most of his games, and he made the finals. So there you go.
Yeah, how do we feel about Glastrier? Like, I think it's very solid.
It really wants the Terra, and that's I think the concern expressed earlier.
Yeah,
but
Glastrier wants to Terra. Wo-Chien wants to Terra.
Yeah.
Heatran probably wants to Terra.
Want to Terra out of there for its weaknesses, yeah.
Yeah, Gastrodon wants to Terra. Sometimes Farigiraf wants to Terra.
Well, you got
defensively
with its
and
sometimes. Ultimately, what Jay said earlier about being an offensively oriented team, if it gets to play offense, it'll do a great job. It's got to keep that offense up.
Even if it does, 2 of your 6 core Pokemon are Gastrodon and Wo-Chien, who are not offensive Pokemon.
That's true. No, I mean, that's definitely true. It's not going to be easy to do.
I think if we assess this team just as the 6 and say this is a Sly draft with 6 Pokemon, and then he took 5 1-pointers, but because of the way we changed the draft board, our 1-pointers are actually,
usable,
good enough.
5-point, yeah.
Right there, we're assessing just those 6 Pokemon as a unit, and then one of these bottom guys will get thrown in every now and then. So how do these 6 as a unit do? And I think the answer is pretty well. You really need Enamorus and Heatran to be carrying all the lifting if you're trying to go fast. So it's mainly, in my opinion, a Trick Room team with Enamorus as a mix-up.
Yep.
Which
And also,
we
yeah,
made
that's a perfect context. This is a Sly team, but I will praise the late niche picks. This is how you pick a mon that is specifically good at the thing it's coming for, rather than a worse version of the top 6. So great thought behind that draft. So yeah, it'll be hard to succeed. I think fundamentally it'll be a pretty challenging team to pilot, but it's very cool and potentially very good.
Yeah, Camo's a pretty good pilot too. So
yeah,
That's a C tier team for me.
Ooh, get wrecked.
yeah.
I think I actually like this team more after the analysis.
After we talked about it, I like when that's the
You drafted a
case.
cool team.
Where do I like? Do I like it more than Ray's?
Do you like it in B tier?
Well, it's going in B tier.
Or?
Yeah, we're building the curve here this time, but
JDB, are you running for office or something?
no, don't worry. If we were done right now, this is what it would look like.
Then just put it there.
Well, but what if things change?
No, I love it.
All right.
Uh,
Let's
You keep on doing what you're doing. Follow your heart.
A well-distributed normal curve is important to me.
Is it a curve though?
It will be. Okay, Goose. Yar Matey. The Iron Hands. It's Steve's team from last time.
And he's got Sylveon again. Goose likes that Pokemon almost as much as I do.
Sylveon's very good. I understand. We got Typhlosion Hisui at home, aka Typhlosion. Not a super great way to set Sunny Day, I don't think. What's the fastest Sunny Day we've got?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Doesn't necessarily
We had
need
Bronze on
it.
said Sunny Day. Now he is Steve, but Goose can be Steve sometimes.
Jugulus then. Booster Jugulus.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be the fastest.
He's got Fire Blast too.
yeah, sure. Booster Jugulus, totally.
The and I know Goose has mentioned this, but the slacking is kind of weird here because our skill swaps are not ideal, I would say.
Yeah,
I think the
we've got...
Sylveon and the Bronzong are okay because the Slacking gets one turn to attack. You don't necessarily have to have a faster skill swap, and Bronzong will take a hit and be able to do it, but you still got to take a turn doing that instead of clicking Hyper Voice, Trick Room, or a Screen.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't hate giving Pixelate to Slaking one bit. That sounds awesome.
That is pretty cool. I didn't even
Yo, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You could
But
do
then you have a
Pixelate
dead
with
mon.
a-
You have a dead mon next to it, right?
So if you switch Sylveon out and then back in, it gets Pixelate again, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Do we have
But you
Intimidate?
get-
Yeah, we got Intimidate. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
And
we
I
got
guess if
Well,
you're
you kind
taking
of want
free
to-
shots,
Superfish.
like if you're taking free shots into the other slot, then slacking just gets to fire off moves. So maybe it's not such a bad idea.
Yeah, what's the strongest normal type move that it gets? Probably...
Giga Impact.
Well, but then you've basically got
Body
Truant
Slam.
again.
Body Slam, right?
Probably
Right.
Body Slam? Or Facade. Guts, or burned Facade, probably.
So we shouldn't spend too much time talking about the Slacking on this team.
Yeah.
True.
I just do want to point out that he took Slacking without any sort of like Grafaiai is the only real partner when Ursaring is still on the board, which I think is just an interesting choice to have fun with the team. which I
Probably more solid choices. You're right. But like, if we want to talk solid, these top 6, with the possible exception of Quillfish, are extremely solid. So I think Goose likes
totally.
great mons, which is a good taste to have, is in great mons.
Yeah, and
The main issue
this
is that
is
you got
beautiful.
2 physical attackers with Iron Hands and Lycanroc Dusk.
Do we only have 2?
Yeah,
I
pretty
guess
much.
Bronzong
Bronzong
is
can do
kinda-
bits, but
But that's
Yeah.
entirely fair. Goose has been using Covert Cloak effectively and Amulet. He'll figure it out. Fundamentally, I just think the numbers are really good, and when the big numbers go up higher with like Combines and Sword Stances and whatever, then like that's why I fundamentally believe in the team. I can't really speak to the synergy. Like I can't quite tell how they come together. I mean, we had a Trick Room mode and whatnot, but like I do. I think good numbers with good multipliers. Like I don't overthink it. I think this is going to be an A tier for me.
Iron Hands it in itself is like team defining too. That Pokemon is so unbelievably strong. I know it's 25 points or whatever, but after playing against it last season, it's like you can prep for it and there's still nothing you can do. Like you're not killing it.
I think
Yeah,
this team
yeah.
is the definition of low A, high B, because
Mhm.
all of the pieces are strong, and they're all like good value as well. But the synergies are not so clear that it like really is crazy. Like maybe Steve and Pop and Steam that we'll see later on. Like for example, Iron Hands doesn't have like a fake out or a redirection partner besides Hop-It to send in a belly drum or anything like that. The trick room mode is good but not incredible. The fast mode is good but also not like
Not like
insane
blistering.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
There's like the ground type to complement Sylveon's fairy type is Quagsire, so it's not perfect, but the pieces are so good on their own that it's still gonna be totally championship caliber.
That's such a good point. Like ultimately, this team will have a bigger range based on how well it's piloted. You got to make up in team building for some of the things that aren't just like cut and paste. This team's super strong that other teams will have, but that means you got the things to work with. I like saying this is a championship caliber team. You got this, Goose.
Yeah, I like it as well. Do we want to put it on the tier list?
It's gonna be a B for me.
I'm gonna
I
be
like it about as
optimistic.
much as
Low A,
you.
you got this.
I'm gonna put it in B tier. I like that bit now. I think I'm gonna stick with that bit. I like it better than Camo's team. Yeah, there's just a lot more going on than in Camo's team. Do I like it more than Ray's? Let me just take a quick peek back. Remind myself. Oh yeah, I think these are very, very similar in like overall team structure, right? Like,
It's a reasonable comparison. I'm with you there.
but this one has an iron hand. Like, this one has that first pick S tier quality Pokemon that Ray's
They
is
do
kind of
really
missing.
similar, except one has an Iron Hands.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And Hop-It and Skiploom are on completely different levels too, I'd say.
No, they are. They're.
I mean, in that Skiploom is better than Hoppip, but
Yeah.
but both are fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna put
PBR,
it
Dance Dance Revolution.
above Ray's as well. All right, let's take a look at. We got 3 more to look at here. DDR. It's. I mean,
Ladder team.
he drafted
God.
his regional team basically. I think his regional team, right? Wasn't it Chien Pao Dragonite, and I think these 4 were on the team that Slushy played at regionals, if I remember correctly.
I think it was all 5.
Was it Palafin also?
It was all 5 of these.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's like, there's a lot to be said for like comfortability with the Pokemon, and like it doesn't get much more comfortable with the Pokemon than I top 16 to regional with these 5 Pokemon.
I guess to poke holes in it, right? Steel types and Steel Terras are kind of nice into those front 5. Obviously not the best into Arcanine. Intimidate is kind of good into this team, but
3 normals, no Steel, no Fairy is weird.
Well,
Like, that's a weird spread.
There's also got kind of no ghosts.
Yeah,
There's kind of no ground.
True.
As well.
Yeah, Gabite doesn't really count.
It has kind of 5 Pokemon, if we're being
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Raichu?
I would say it has
With a team like
5 Pokemon and the best of 6 not very good Pokemon for a given week. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think this team is gonna be made or broken based on how good these 6 are. Because
actually.
you've got to bring one of them, and the top 5 are all physical attackers. So,
Yeah.
What is this team going to do into like a Garganapple, right? I don't know if that was drafted in this division, but Garganapple completely walls the top 4 with a reasonable Terra.
It was not.
Or other, an Orthworm.
But,
for
sure.
example. Maybe Arcanine Overheat. But the usage of the bottom 6, I think, is really suspect. And so it loses points for me in that way. But it is hard to argue with. I'll say one last thing and then I'll shut up. I think this team, for everyone playing it, it's like a different mini game within draft, because it no longer feels like you're playing draft league. It feels like you're countering the meta, and you
Yeah.
have to completely change
With your draft
because
team.
He's so
Yeah.
experienced. He's played more games with this combo of 5 Pokemon than any of us have ever played with any of our draft squads.
True.
Except that person that you were saying that's in a million leagues and has drafted the same Dondozo team in 5 leagues.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
that's not one of our
Do
people.
this real quick.
That's not one of our people. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that
So the rock weakness is tough.
things look a lot sparser without
So
all
the
of
best
this.
comparison, this is for the VBL old heads, is Bohm's Season 2 team. It's a very storied VBL team which had Venusaur, Torkoal, Hatterene, Indeedee, and Gigalith. And he brought those 5 every single week, and he went 8-2. So some 5 Pokemon have such a diverse threat bubble among those 5 that they're like 8 good Pokemon in terms of the amount of threats that they pose. Is this team that team? Yeah, I think probably. Like, I think the team's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, if they had just made some better usage of their picks 6 through 11, then this team becomes a top tier team. And like, I think they had some points. And like, if they just discount one of those 5, but they really committed to this concept. I'm going to bring a really fantastic 5 Mon team. And so we'll just see if it works. So
Yeah.
fundamentally, that's it, right? We got
But, like, at that
5
point,
great Mons and 6 not great Mons.
At
but
that point, fuck it.
really
Just
work.
like, just get a 6th and then have the rest all be 1-pointers, right? Like, whatever. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause they
well,
might as well
because
be
you can only
this.
because you can only make 4 transactions in this league. But
Yeah, but during the
I mean,
draft, it's
During
like,
drafting.
yeah, totally.
yeah, just instead of taking Zorua, whatever, like, what's the point? What are you
What
gonna do
was
with that thing?
yeah.
You know, and taking Cyclizar, which everybody hates on, I think it's fine for what it's worth. But those points, you could have just put them all into like a 15-pointer. You would have just had 6 to bring every week. It's basically the same.
And it could have been a special attack.
24.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it needs, right?
So, yeah, this could be a 19-point Mon, and then all of these 1-pointers.
Cyclizar is Dragonite in the basement of the home.
So you already have a normal type in Dragonite.
High
And
B
the Dragon
could
type
easily
is
be
Dragon-
S, but it's high B. Let's see great play, because they had great play at that tournament. So let's see great play in this draft league, and they'll run away with it.
Yeah.
I kind of love this team, and I kind of hate it. I mean, I hate the team, okay?
No, I don't want to play it. It doesn't sound fun at all.
Right. Yeah, I can't tell like how strong it's going to be, because I feel like just
I think
having
it's
physical
strong.
limiting.
It's gonna be strong.
Intimidate's not great into
Yeah.
it, so I think it's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. Do I like it
Dragonite
better than
isn't a focus.
Tsukaba's team? What was...
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I just want to do a quick little... Oh, right. Yeah, no, I don't like it more than Tsukaba's team.
I
Yeah,
have it in A under Tsukaba.
I'm happy with it right
Well,
there.
One
In
other
B.
thing is
In B,
this is a
right in
5
B.
Pokemon team.
This is a
When you're
what,
facing a
Jay?
5 Pokemon team, it's a 5 Pokemon team, and when you're facing that, you're countering just those 5. And what Pokemon gets easily countered more than anyone else in the game? It's Amoonguss. So actually, you've got your Terra Grass, you've got your Overcoat, you've got your safety goggles, and now it's a 4 Pokemon team. If you had 11 good Pokemon, it's a lot tougher to fit on that safety goggles.
But that said, what I say about anti-Amoonguss, like when you've got an Amoonguss, the rest of your team needs to counter Amoonguss. The other 4 are generally very good against grass, not Palafin. But Arcanine, Dragonite, and Chien-Pao are specifically really good against grass.
Are all good against grass. That's true.
Anyway.
All right, we got 2 left.
Crazy Cramorants, a new
So,
coach. Welcome,
with
Jason.
transactions, trades happening today. This 5 hours ago was a Clodsire and is now a Donphan.
Incredible transaction.
Yeah, you got him. You got him.
Also traded away the Tatsugiri yesterday or the day before to free agency for
Also a
Clawitzer.
good pick. All right. Good transactions.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So J-Star definitely has some experience here, because this team is nuts.
This team is not a
Yeah,
first.
You're gonna have more to say
Yeah.
about than I will. Go for it.
Yeah, go.
Oh, I'm happy to go for it. I think specifically just, okay, looking at who this coach is, from making the Tatsugiri for Clawitzer and somehow getting Pygo to drop Donphan, they're a social manipulator or something, because now this team is super scary. Just incredibly solid in terms of basics, right? You have fire, water, grass. You have good slow Pokemon, Magnezone, Donphan, Clawitzer. You have good fast Pokemon, Masquerada, Tauros. Tauros, I think, is really strong. You have 3 great Trick Room setters, and you have an incredible, really, I think, underrated in draft combo in Indeedee Armarouge. I've seen some incredible play in different leagues from that. And the big question with these two always is, how are you beating the dark types? You have Galarian Zapdos and Mimikyu, who I think are both great in dark types. Tauros has coverage, Donphan has coverage, Clawitzer has Orsteer, and Masquerada has Play Rough and Low Kick. So lots of answers into that. This team, I'm really glad I don't face it, because I think after the transactions, it is one of the scariest we've seen.
See, I disagree a little bit. I think that there's no really, really strong fast mode in the sense that Zapdos is your only Tailwind setter, and I don't really feel comfortable setting Tailwind with Zapdos a lot of the time. I want to be hitting things. And Trick Room is getting set up if this coach wants it. I forget who the coach is already. But yeah, Trick Room is getting set up, but the slowest Pokemon is Spidops, which is slow, and in my opinion is a little bit more of an anti-Trick Room threat with Circle Throw. But the Trick Room mode on this team is, it's going to beat some teams, but a lot of teams are going to bring their slow Pokemon because this team can easily set up the Trick Room, but then doesn't benefit from it as much as I would like.
That's entirely fair, but that said, J-Star, you're going to bring your Power Bracer Armarouge, all right? You're going to bring your Psychic Zeed Zapdos Galar, a mon that I really believe in, and you're going to bring Bulk Up and Sub and shit, and that mon is just going to run over everything that tries to beat Indeedee and Armarouge. Like, this team is, really, really scary in terms of the threats and the different threats they pose that, yeah, I think it's entirely fair that they won't always have speed control, but they have the Indeedee, the I don't care about speed control mon, and they got really different kind of special threats and a few good physical threats. So, this is a Tsukaba-style team. Fine, hit me first sometimes, but I'm going to beef you and out-muscle you. And so I think that I'm really impressed with the offensive packages going on.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a ladder or in-person tournament Trick Room mode, right? And these Pokemon, these are fast Pokemon in Draft World, right? 96, 85, 75 but you don't have to be base 35 speed. You just have to be slower than your opponent, and so, I mean, this...
Scarf Gyarados beats entire teams. Scarf Armarouge beat me a couple seasons back. Assault Vest Clawitzer, Choice Specs Clawitzer. As long as we take one hit, something dies.
Also,
I believe in the
Mega Launcher, Terrain Pulse, Psychic Surge?
No more
Terra Psychic?
Terrain Pulse this gen.
Oh, does it get Terrain Pulse anymore? Drop Clawitzer.
Only
It's bad. It's bad. Drop it.
This is all in an ideal world, though. The numbers on this team are not phenomenal. I mean, Zapdos is hitting really hard. What else is hitting on the physical side? Meowscarada, okay.
Clawitzer has a 50% boost on the moves it's using.
Sure, but it needs to hit something, and historically it doesn't hit anything ever. Right?
What does historically it doesn't hit anything ever mean?
Main moves that this team is otherwise clicking, which is Dark Pulse, Dark moves, Fighting moves, and then what's the other one?
Water Pulse.
Well,
I guess
ever seen
unique thing.
do anything?
Yeah, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Water Pulse. Is there a fourth Mega Launcher move that gets used?
We don't talk about Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
I think
all right, let's put this team in A tier. Who doesn't put it in A tier? I'm just curious.
I definitely am.
Go in B tier.
I'm putting it in B tier, but
all right, well, I'm gonna be the optimistic one as I always.
I like it. I mean, honestly, I like it more than Slushy's team as a draft squad. I like it. I'm just putting everything in B tier right now.
This is my favorite team. I think it's better than all the other teams so far.
No hate or anything. But
I've got 3 Bs so far. We'll see if we have a 4th B. Or if I'm just way too optimistic. Maybe.
All right.
Can't all make playoffs.
Let's look at our last Thundurus Conference team.
Oh, I love this team too. No.
The rebranded Pancake MX. the Paldea Pancakes. Yeah, I like this team a lot. It's got my girl, our girl. We can share her. we can share her, Jordan.
Bax Caliber is my boy, and Tornadus is my god.
Yeah,
this team does have 3 gender-locked Pokemon. Florges and Hatcham are both always female. Tornadus is always male.
True.
Interesting.
So try that on for size, you know.
Sliggoo is pretty nuts too. We talked about that in the last video.
Yeah, people are very high on Sliggoo, and I think it's pretty fun and fine. I think yeah, but then what?
Do you believe in Hisui and Gudra? Then you better believe in Hisui and Sliggoo. Slightly less, but it remains to be seen how much less.
Yeah, I think less. How much? What is
the value?
Which team had it? How many points was it? 17 versus 6. Do I believe in it 11 points less?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I think for 11 points less, definitely.
Okay. I definitely believe in it more, like a smaller delta than 11 points. So maybe I do believe in Sliggoo.
I believe in Glamora. Like, I believe in that mon a lot. I think that having special rock type attacks is really nice. I think poison is really nice into a lot of teams have strong fairies that they're going to lean into. I think that Glamora is going to show up in those matchups too, and then setting the toxic spikes is really nice. Bax Caliber with Tornadus is going to go absolutely nuts here. I think Florges and Tornadus is another pretty solid combo. You get Tailwind set up for that thing. It can do big damage. A lot of these teams have fairy weaknesses. So I like Pancake a lot as a coach. I've seen a lot of videos with Pancake, and he's got a very analytical mind about Pokemon, so I expect a better season from Pancake this time around.
The speed clumping is real. Your 3 key players in 85, 86, 87. That said, you have to respect 2 times that at all times, given Tornadus. And so maybe that makes up for it.
I think it definitely does. That's what Tornadus is for, right?
Get cut off twice is what you're gonna.
Sorry, yeah. No, it's part of the international thing.
Big delay.
Big delay.
It is though. Yeah, I think I have a little delay. I apologize. I'm gonna offer an alternate take on this team, which is I think all of the pieces that we've talked about make sense. I don't think they fit together as well as is being described. Because when I look at this team, I see a bunch of different Pokemon that are kind of trying to do different things. Tornadus, Tailwind with Florges, Bax Caliber, Samurott, I think is the most obvious strong mode. But I don't know if I fully believe in that because Tornadus, Florges, and Bax Caliber are walled by steel types, and Samurott is not doing that much better into them with Aqua Cutter. These Pokemon have coverage, but
I was gonna say sharpness. Doesn't Hisui and Samurott get Sacred Sword or something like that? Yeah. But but
Earthquake. Like, there
fair
are
enough.
Options.
Yeah.
And then you look at the Hariyama. Okay, another really great Pokemon. Great, like Hariyama's best for being fake out into a Trick Room setter, and now it sweeps in Trick Room. And your Trick Room setter is Hatcham, who is absolutely good, but it's not a top-tier Trick Room setter to partner with Hariyama, and there's nothing else that's slow to really get the most out of it besides Palace End. The speed tiers, outside of Tornadus, it's really just Electro that's super fast and nothing else in there, so there's a lot of stuff that is going to be running Adamant and
outspeed here, Yeah,
and the type chart, if you notice on ice, one of the resists is Hariyama, who's always running Guts, and your steel resists, one of your steel resists is Electrode. So there are definitely types that this team is weak to. I think it is offensive enough to go the distance, but when we're talking about it being so offensive, then Glamora and Sliggoo start to make less sense. So I think just all these pieces are strong, but to me, they don't quite fit into the mold that we're looking at.
Very fair. I think this team would love to have like a Stantler, like a secondary Trick Room setter that's just different than the other one, so that you can get Hariyama and Trick Room more often. I think this team is going to have a different take on Hariyama. How good is it ultimately? It's very deceiving, its numbers, but it can be run in Tailwind if we think Ursaluna and Amorous Therian can. So maybe that'll work and maybe it won't. James, you've had Hariyama. You think this guy can go the distance without speed control or in Tailwind?
So the season I had Hariyama was, I think, BDSP.
I think it was the first season of.
Oh, that's right. No, yeah, that's right. It was.
Yeah.
It was. Season 8. It was the first Gen 9 season. It's. I liked it, but I didn't. I didn't love it. Right. Never really had room for fake out, even though that's like one of the reasons you draft it. Loved having headlong rush and close combat as two like super strong high base power moves. It's got stuff going for it. If you need it to be a little more defensive, you can run thick fat and plan to switch it in on some a fire attack into your Baxcalibur. Well, that's a neutral hit. I don't know. Maybe it's not switching in on this team necessarily, but like it's pretty good to fine, depending on how you build with it. But
I think having
this
Hatcham
team
is
shows
only
more of the
triggered.
personality of Pancakes in that they see things differently and they want to try a lot of different things. And we will see, like, they're going to get to show us a lot of cool stuff. And will it work? Stay tuned. Like, ultimately, I don't have an answer for you. So I think, Jace, you and James and Daddy, you've all kind of moderated me on this team. Right now, it's in the top B for me. So I'm going to end up with four teams in A or S and 4 teams in B. So
You're
that's
very
what I
generous
think.
tonight.
Do I think they're all within the margin for error? Like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that having Hatcham as the only Trick Room setter is kind of a downside,
that's the
especially because
Iron
there is
Hands
this pretty
team.
strong Trick Room mode. So this is like a B tier team for me too, I think.
Slushy's team. I think it goes in between the two 5-mon teams for me.
You like it more than? Oh my god.
Yeah, I do like it. Even though you might not think so based on what I had to say about Hariyama. I do like it overall, right? Tornadus does everything. Florgus is basically unkillable and kills everything.
This team had Intimidate or Burns.
This 4 plus Hariyama most of the time, plus one of these 5, I think is going to be really tough.
Pancakes, can you find a fire type somewhere? Something with a burn, with a will-o-wisp. That, I think, is what the team is missing right now, but it's got a lot of cool stuff. All right? Show us.
Fast Ghost. Are there any fast ghosts left on the tier
That would
list?
be good,
Maybe?
too.
Yeah.
Another way
Something
to get
like
will-o-wisp.
Gengar, maybe.
Haunter.
Dude,
Gengar
if
is
this team played
yeah.
Gengar, I'm in it.
It's 1 point more than Glamora.
Ooh.
That might be
For
bad.
Gengar? Oh, I don't hate that. Maybe
Gengar's 15.
downgrade Palossand to something else, and then
You don't need a ground type when you have Headlong Rush.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think Gengar could be interesting for this team. All right, that does it for Thundurus Division. We are. Oh, it doesn't quite do it for Thundurus Division because I have to spread my.
Is it worth sharing our personal rankings here?
I think that's my yeah.
We will in Discord.
Yeah,
This is James'
we'll
video.
put the other ones on
But
the,
yeah, James,
the Discord.
You and I ended up a lot more alike than different, for sure.
Mine's very different. Mine did
So
not
there we
look
go.
alike.
There's my curve. Now I just gotta put the other 8 in there somewhere. See,
We'll figure it out next
see
video.
where we go.
Stay tuned,
All right,
everybody.
rock and roll. We'll see you when we see you.
Clowitzer is not real. Clowitzer is not real.
It is,
Clowitzer,
dude, it is.
I have won a championship with Clowitzer. Clowitzer is real.
It's
Magnezone and Tauros and Mimikyu and Donphan. Every single Pokemon in this team, even Indeedee, is doing good damage because it has the boost from terrain.
Taurus,
Maybe none of these Pokemon is a
Heaven,
Kartana
Donphan
or a
too.
Chi-Yu. Yes, every single Pokemon on this team is the weakest link is Mimikyu in terms of damage. And after a Indeedee Follow Me plus Swords Dance, it's doing so much damage. Add that to how much synergy it has. To me, I love it. But this is very much the kind of team that, well, I wouldn't draft Indeedee Armourouge, but other than that, it's the kind of thing I would draft. So
I'm guessing this was a divisive one.
I'm biased.
Extremely.
Yes, that's why I brought it up.
Well, actually, I think
It's my
Jace
favorite
thinks
team. I
it's-
think it's Daddy's least
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, it's Jace's favorite. It's my least favorite, and I think the other two liked it.
I mean, I honestly haven't looked at all the other teams, but this seems like decent. I don't think it's bad,
Yeah.
or I'd have to see the other teams to know.
To be fair, I don't think it's bad either. Like I don't think any of the teams.
I
There's a
don't
lot
think
of
Ray's
sauce here.
team last season was bad either.
You did or you didn't?
I don't think it was bad. I think it was the best team in the league.